Well, hello, everybody. Good to see you tonight. We have already got some texts that were late, and we know, but we had to add just a little bit of extra ingredient to make it even better for you tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us here on the first episode of Southern Gospel Forward. And if y'all been watching the Southern Gospel Spin, you know who I am. I'm Scott Bouldin, and just tickled to be here with you. And so thankful that this little vision has come into fruition. And I want to get out of the way and introduce two amazing young people to you tonight. Let them tell you a little bit about themselves. Riley Wheeler and Avery Bradford. Avery, ladies first. Why don't you say hello to the crowd and tell a little bit about yourself?
No pressure. So I'm Avery Bradford. I'm 22. I'm from Hayden, Alabama. And I got into Southern Gospel because my parents loved it. And my first Southern Gospel singing was, I was 8 months old and I went to a bishop's homecoming. So I've stuck with it. It's my life. So
Fantastic. Riley?
Well, I'm Riley Wheeler and I'm 19 and I live in Chickamauga, Georgia. I've grown up listening to the music and going to concerts. I don't remember exactly when my first concert was, but I've just grown up and I've grown to love it as I've gotten older and found a love for it for myself. And I really just enjoy going to concerts and enjoy this music.
And I'm just so thankful for young folks who enjoy Southern gospel music. And I don't know of two bigger fans than you two. And thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for helping making this a reality after we've talked about it for a while.
yeah,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Glad to be here.
All righty. Real quick, before we've got a fantastic guest waiting. I mean, he's just waiting in the green room, eating all the M&Ms and M's and drinking the Sprite, but he's going to be on in just a second. But real quick, I don't like to do this, but uh, we have a few little costs that we cover here. We are a nonprofit. All we're trying to do is cover a little bit of our cost of technology. If you would you shop with us just a little bit? We've got two sponsors to talk about. One is the Ben Soap Company, and they have all natural goat soap products. My family uses this. I don't know if any of y'all do, but it's amazing products. It's great for anyone who has skin issues, eczema. The goat milk lotion, the soaps, the lip butter, the salve, all that is just really great. If you go and shop at bensoap.com and you use promo code SBM Studios, then we get a little love. So we would love for you to do that. And then one other ones, and I'm not going to show products tonight. I'm trying to get right into the interview, but we have one other sponsor, and that is My Pillow. And I really believe in this product. I have trouble sleeping. I don't sleep well, but I have never slept before like I do since I started using My Pillow, and it's just fantastic. The technology. It's the most comfortable sleep I've had. They have all kind of products. They have the Giza sheet sets. They have travel pillows. They have even pajamas and just all kind of good stuff. If you'll check them out, go to mypillow.com/, SBM Studios, or you can just go to mypillow.com and enter the coupon code SBM Studios. And again, we'll get a little love. But we would appreciate y'all considering just shopping with the Ben Soap Company and mypillow.com and helping us out. Okay. Thank you for letting me do that little commercial. And I'm going to give a shout out to you. Won't see him tonight unless he leans over and his hand and his head gets in the camera. But I'm thankful for Jason Bain serving tonight as our producer. So y'all just can give him a big old hand and clap out there in internet land. But look, hey Riley, Avery, why don't we just jump right on in and bring on our guest? Does that sound good?
Sounds
Yes,
good to
sir.
me.
All righty. We are tickled tonight to have none other than Trevor Conkle. Come on in, Trevor.
Hey guys, so
And
excited
the
to be
crowd goes wild.
here. Woo! Thanks, bro.
Thank you
My
so much.
hand.
Thank you so much for joining us, Trevor.
How are you guys doing?
Doing
Good.
well.
Awesome.
Doing
So
great.
glad to
Doing
be here.
great.
Thank you for the invitation, and so glad I could be a part of this. And hey, we're just going to have fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to be. That's the format I've had through all of the projects we've done. Is just kind of like we're sitting in the living room talking. So that's what we're going to do tonight.
Awesome.
Um, I'm trying to. I really want to get this geared toward y'all. I'm the old. I call myself the old papaw in this group. I thought it up, but I just kind of want to halfway stay out of the way and let y'all get in the light because I feel so strongly about um, youth in Southern gospel, whether it be fans or artists, it's not our future, it's our present. And I believe in that with all of my heart, and trying to shine a light on you guys. But Trevor, if you will, maybe start us off with giving a little bit of information on how you got your start, your love for Southern gospel music, and then you can bring us through your career and bring us up to date right quick.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I live in Arab, Alabama, and I was born and raised here. And I went to the same church my whole life. So I really credit a lot of my love for the music and for church music, convention style music, all kinds of gospel music to my church. They really inspired that into my heart, and they really lived it in front of me. We grew up playing all different styles, and we had different people within the church that would take me to gospel concerts and would give me CDs and cassettes, and would do what they could to expose me to it, and I'm grateful for that. Starting out as a young child, I remember just like everyone else going to VBS. And I was so excited just to get to the music part of it, just because we would sing new theme songs every year, new songs, so that was always an influential part. And then, I started taking piano lessons when I was about 5 years old. We couldn't find a piano teacher when mom and dad kind of started to notice that I had an ear for music. When I was about 3 years old, I came home from church and they kind of heard me playing the melody of a song, and they're like, "Is that what I think it is?" And so they kind of took notice to that, and we slowly but surely, I guess, as the talent and the gift began to grow, and my ear began to grow, and my desire for music began to grow, I just it became evident that maybe it's something that we should pursue. So we finally found a local piano teacher who actually went to a church here in town that she did regular piano lessons, and then she incorporated the hymns and chords, and really, gave me a foundation for what I was hearing in my head. And I'm so grateful for her, and she still loves and supports the music, and her church supports our music, and I credit a lot to her as well.
Awesome.
I took from her till I was about, I'm going to say, I think it's about 8 or 9. And then we kind of reached a point where she was like, "I don't really know what more else to teach you, than the basic fundamental theory stuff." And what's funny is the rest of it really came from just being exposed and starting to listen intently to different people like, Gerald Wolf and Stan Whitmire, Anthony Berger,
Mm.
I guess we were so blessed because in our generation, Riley and Avery, we have had YouTube and the
Mm-hmm.
internet, and so we've been able to watch and listen, and we've been able to go back and play over and over, these concerts and stuff, and people's videos, and so I learned a lot just from watching those. And I found a gentleman one day on YouTube. His name was Greg Howlett, and he was a what you would call, I guess, a Christian concert pianist. He had a lot of classical background,
Mhm.
but also, he had um, an endeavor where he tried to minister to local church people and the local church pianists that really wanted to, take it to that next level. We're teaching
Mm-hmm.
improvisation and
Mhm.
chord restructure and reharmonization, and really teaching you, that next step to take from just being an okay church pianist to, adding some color chords and making it yourself as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Right.
And so I've never actually met him. I've just watched his stuff, and I actually purchased some of his material, and he made, I mean, probably over 30 hours worth of video and video material that I use, and I learned a lot from that. And so I have a lot to credit him for. I know he's out of doing that now. He's moved into the medical field, but I still have to give him credit. And then when I was about, see, that's about age 14 when I kind of really started to see that my gift was growing. But, you know, I just kind of assumed, Lord, if you ever open the door, I would love to do something in church ministry or music ministry. Just knowing my age, I probably wouldn't get to travel on the road and do gospel music full time at such an early age. And then literally, I guess about 2 years later, I had started online homeschool, I went to public school for the first 9 years, and then the Lord opened the door to do online homeschool through Liberty Online Academy, and I started that. And the next year after I did that, the door opened for me to go on the road with the Hoppers. I traveled with them from October of 2014 until July of 2017. And during my tenure there, I really just stood back and I felt like a sponge. I just observed everything that I could, in regards to the industry and music. And, when I went there, I was handed these things called chord charts. And I'm like, what is this? I'm a country kid. I don't know what this is. Give me a hymnal, I'm good. But I had to quickly teach myself how to read those. But also, I'd never played with soundtracks before, so that was a big learning curve for me. But as you know, we do every night now, and I'm comfortable with it. But I really look back, and I was blessed that the tracks and the music that they sang had a lot of foundation built around an arranger named Larry Goss that was
Hmm.
a hero of mine. And I know of Gerald's and a bunch of other pianists as well. But he's done a lot of choral projects for churches, and he honestly, I never got the opportunity to meet him. I remember we were sitting in a church parking lot when we got the call that he had passed away.
Mm.
Um, and I never forget, I was like, man, I wish I could have met him. And I heard so many stories from Connie and from Gerald about him. And just, he had a unique way of taking a message in a song and bringing feeling to it. And that's what I try to do as well in my own style and way, and is bring feeling and excitement and joy through what I do. But I really credit him for allowing my ear to mature in the way that it has, because I just had never viewed music in that way. So I was there for 3 years with the Hoppers, and of course, just learned a lot musically with the industry. And then the Lord started dealing with me about possibly going somewhere else. And I honestly wasn't looking at the time. I was pretty content, just thinking, okay, Lord, I'm having a good time and playing the
Right.
piano, and
Mm.
with one of the biggest groups in the nation, traveling
Right.
in full time ministry. And then I look back now, and it just, there was no push from my side. It was just the Lord opening the door, and it just made it evident that, okay, I needed to leave this season of my life and go somewhere else, and dig in there. And thankfully, I did, and followed the Lord's will. And then here I now have been with the Mark Trammell Quartet for 6 years as of last month, which is crazy. I mean, uh,
Wow.
it just does not seem right at all. But I'm so thankful I'm here, and the guys just have taken me in, and they just have ministered to me, and they have helped me mature as a Christian young man and as an artist. And honestly, we're just a bunch of brothers on the road, led by one of the greatest baritone singers in gospel
Mm.
music. And we're just grateful to be able to travel and be in this season of our life where we are today.
Absolutely. You've had a wonderful career and still young.
Hmm.
Yes, sir. I'm blessed, very blessed.
Avery and Riley, you want to jump in with any questions at this point?
Well, Trevor and I go back. For us, it feels like a long way because we're young. Other people are like, that's just a little bit. But yeah,
Oh
I
my
think
gosh!
that's from like
Oh my gosh!
2015. Yeah. So we've both come a long way since then. I think we met each other in like January at one of Bill Bailey's Birmingham Sings the Gospel. And you were like, you had just joined the Hoppers because I remember they said you were like 16. And I was like, there's another teenager in gospel music? Because at the time, there was like, no, I mean, Evan wasn't even going with me. My brother wasn't going with me. So it was cool to meet somebody close to my age. But I had one question. If there was a retired group, like before your time, that you could have traveled with, who would it be and why?
I don't think I've ever been asked this question before. Um, hmm. I was raised with all kinds of, quartet music and family groups, and so I learned to appreciate it all. But for me, uh, I think I would have loved to have traveled with the cathedrals probably back in the
Hmm.
'80s when Mark and Danny Funderburk were there. That would have been some fun times with Glenn and George, I think. But
Oh yeah.
uh, I also enjoyed the Kingsmen. I mean, you talk about energy.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been so much fun as well from a stage perspective. Gosh, they had so much fun, and I enjoyed watching. Uh, oh, I see that, Pat. I see that. Yes, yes. Well, I tell you what, I have been honored to play for the number two baritone in our industry, in my opinion. Pat's one of the greatest baritones. I, I love him, and I know he meant every word of that.
Going to get something started. Riley, how about you? You got something you'd like to ask Trevor?
I guess I would want to ask, what is a favorite memory you have from the road traveling with Mark and the guys so far?
Favorite memory.
It could be a funny story or whatever, whatever. But
There's two stories that come to mind. The first one is we were at a church in Corinth, Mississippi, and I'll never forget. It was a Sunday morning, and it was my first time to be there with a group. They had been there previously, and we walked in, and there was this big chest in the front of and I was like, what is this? This is a Baptist church. I was thinking there might be snakes or something. I had never been in that position before. But they opened it up at the beginning of the service, and then they had us come up and sing, and we sang for, I'm going to say, an hour. It was like basically a full set the whole time, and members of the church lined up, and they put money into this chest, and that morning they paid off the remaining balance of the church's mortgage, and it was like, I think, 70 or eighty
Wow.
thousand, and I've never experienced anything like that.
Wow.
So that was a cool moment for me early in
mm-hmm.
history to see that happen for sure. But something really funny. I'm trying to think. Gosh. Well, I'll say this: I have been left at a Waffle House before. Late and I'm always the nice guy, asking if I can get anybody anything, so they get off the bus, and how can I do my part, and but yeah, there's that time you get left at the Waffle House.
That's got to be a tough feeling, but at least I've heard stories from back in the old days when people got left, and that was before cell phones. That
Yes,
was back.
I did
So
have
you
my
were,
cell phone.
yeah,
Yes.
you were in trouble if you got left back in the old days. But in just a second, we're going to pull in a few more comments that folks have on here. But real quick, I'd like to ask you one thing, Trevor.
Okay.
And so you have been blessed as a very young man to have traveled with heroes, with Claude and Connie Hopper of the Hoppers, and Mark Trammell, as you said. To me, top two, three baritone in the history of Southern gospel music, and just living legends. And I guess you and in your young career, maybe talk about one or two things that you gleaned, that you learned from them, whether it's how to carry yourself, how about being in professional Southern gospel music, just something that you just hold dear that you learned from your days with Claude and Connie and now Mark on the road.
Yeah. Uh, I'll say that something that I know is something that both of them groups and most of the groups that I know and am lucky to travel with, on the every weekend on the road, they believe in consistency in regards to quality of the music. They always are looking with a spiritual discernment and the programming. I'm not handed a sheet of paper when I walk on stage every week and say, "Here's what we're singing." It's following the Lord and what He's moving in the Spirit in that service, and so I quickly learned when I came on the road that that's something to appreciate, and it's something that most groups, do and follow in the leading of the Lord, and so I appreciate that. But the consistency of the musicianship and the quality, and giving your best even on those Sunday mornings when you have to load in at 6 a.m. And you don't want to, but I have learned that the Lord has always sustained us, and even from a musician's perspective, you would probably think, well, he's probably not tired. He just plays the piano. But my position is from a communicator standpoint and playing the piano. I'm thinking just as much as a singer and making eye contact and connection with the people in the audience. And if I have done my job in that, I feel like I've done what I was supposed to do, and allowing the Lord to use us to bless them, and then I get a blessing back when they look back and smile.
Yeah.
It's the smallest things really that we try to overcomplicate when we jump into a ministry and like this full-time touring ministry. For me, I used to think I get on stage and I've got to do this move at this time and I've got to do this and make sure I'd smile. The less you think about it and
Right.
just the more you enjoy it, the Lord makes it easier on you, because if you just lean on Him, He takes care of the rest of it. And we've been blessed to now. It's. I tell people I think I can do what I do on stage in my sleep just because it's almost second nature. That I've been doing
Right.
this for 9 years now, and
Yeah.
it's just a part of me, and I can't explain it. I feel it every night, and I'm thankful to feel the Spirit of the Lord in each church house and concert hall that we go to. And I just get up there and I give it my best for Him and for the group to make sure that our message and what we're doing comes across. And that's the main reason why we're there, giving the
Absolutely.
gospel.
Absolutely. And anybody who has seen you in person, I don't see how they would say that you wouldn't be tired or it didn't take any energy as much and energy as you put into your play. And you're a great communicator. Well, let's take a second. And Jason, I'm just going to let you kind of pop some up and we'll say howdy to a few folks that has joined in with us. I'm going to have to lean over to see. That's Blaine Rayleigh from Everything Southern Gospel saying hello tonight. We got Megan Edgeworth saying howdy. Of course, we saw Pat Barker earlier. Thankful for him watching us. Who else we got, Brother Jason? Oh, Pop's watching, Avery.
Yeah, he made it home, and I could hear him coming in the back door, and I texted him. I said, mute your phone, mute your phone.
I would say that Robert is one of the most faithful friends and fans we have, and we appreciate
Yes.
for sure.
He's a blessing as a father, so.
And to age me and him, he was the PA announcer when I played Pee Wee football in Hayden years ago. So
Yeah.
You're
He
serious?
just started his 42nd season at Hayden, so Friday night was his 42nd season starting.
So he's another one who has an awesome love and a big heart for young people and has for all these years. Yep. Got anybody else? We got a bunch of folks. We may get back to some more here in a minute, but thank y'all for joining us. And if you'll hang out with us a little bit toward the ends, I've got a giveaway that we're going to do. So hang in here with us. But again, I want to take a little back seat. But Avery and Riley, why don't y'all have a chat with Trevor about Trevor's got a lot going on.
Yeah. So, Trevor, you go ahead. I was going to ask you about the North Alabama and a little bit of North Georgia now promoting. You've gotten into that recently, which is fantastic, especially for our area, coming from the North Alabama area. What sparked you into doing that, and how'd you get that ball rolling? I know there's a few of my friends that would love to start promoting. So,
yeah, I guess it was about 2 years ago. I guess I had the thought in my mind for a while, but I really felt burdened about 2 years ago to start doing more of a local impact, and not really ever doing that before in concert promotion, and not knowing really where to start. I was at first kind of discouraged because I'm like, well, no one else does it, and our area. I know at one time in North Alabama used to have a lot of singings on the weekends, and a lot of promoters have passed away, and some churches they've changed music programs and directors, and so the music styles have changed, and so we just didn't have as much of a presence at it seemed like as even when I was growing up, I remember going to Coleman Civic Center, seeing the Greens, the Hoppers, and Brian Free Insurance. I was, gosh, I was probably 9 or 10 years old, and uh, and I remember that being a big night in my life and hearing gospel music. Um, but I had the burden, and honestly, I just went to Mark and I said, "Hey, this may be a terrible idea. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I just, I have this idea, and you just tell me what you think." And I think maybe he had thought about doing something before, but he's involved in a lot of aspects of our ministry and NQC, and so I think at the time he was just had a lot of things going on. So when I brought this idea to him, he said, "Well, sure, and I'll go into you with it, and let's do it together." And he has been such a supporter in helping me push this, because I didn't have email lists, I didn't have addresses, I didn't have any way to contact people, and I just kind of with his support and Facebook and starting to book our artists, we were able to have our first concert, and it was a success. And I was all pumped and charged and ready to go. And I've learned a lot along the way from him and other people in the industry, Bill Bailey and Dwayne Guerin and Josh Franks, and they've kind of helped taking me under their wing and trying to invest in me, and I'm very appreciative of
That's
that.
great.
But um, promoting, I've learned, is not necessarily something that you can just jump into, because I have learned
Mm.
that it's got to be a ministry that is sustained by the Lord just as much as a music ministry like us full time traveling. We've been blessed to meet budget every time, and everybody's been able to have food on their table. But it's one of those things where it truly is an investment from the people in the audience. And when I get up and I give the opportunity for us to take up a love offering at our events, I tell people, I said, "We've done our part. Now it's your turn to do your part." And we've come and we've blessed you and we've ministered to you. And now it's your time to invest into this ministry if the Lord leads you, because we don't force people to give. That's just not how we work. You don't have to give money, but we just want you to be a part of it and help us grow this ministry in the North Alabama area. And if you want more of this, unfortunately, it takes money, and so we just ask for people to give. And every time we have been able to meet the budget. Praise the Lord. And to me, that's confirmation ever since the first one that we've done that we're doing something right, and we're doing something that the Lord wants to happen. And if He ever shows us that we don't need to do it, then I'm going to obey Him and not do it. But as long as He gives us His seal of approval, and we're going to keep doing it. And I think, let me see. I'm trying to think. We did one, two, three. We've done 5 concerts now in 2 years, and actually, those were not really pre-planned much. First one was, but the rest of them have just kind of came along the way, and knowing some artist friends that needed to come through the area, and we just kind of looked at our calendars, and um, now I think we've got 5 on the books from now until April of next year. And we're blessed that this year we had our first concert in the North Georgia area.
Yeah.
We have some friends over there that said, "Hey, we came to the one in North Alabama and we really enjoyed it, and we'd love you to do something in North Georgia." So we did one back in Canton, Georgia in June, and it was a special night with Mark Trammell Quartet, the Wisnets, and the Milan Hayes family.
Mhm.
And then on the second half, we had a special Wisnet Hayes and Conkle Quartet
Yeah.
set, and that's just something that we're doing just for fun every once in a while. But we had a packed house of about 600 people, and it was just a great night. So we're going to do another one in North Georgia this year in
Awesome.
November. And we're going to do that at the First Baptist Church in Cumming, Georgia.
Okay.
Uh, Dr. Rick Forbes is the music minister there. And the talent's going to be Mark Trammell Quartet, the Wisnets, the Milan Hayes family, and then also the First Baptist Church Choir and Orchestra. So we're
Okay.
really excited about that.
Mhm.
It's really being pushed as a community event, and really wanting to hopefully fill that church up. I think it seats about 1,000, and based off our November, or I'm sorry, our June event in Canton, I think we can do it. So we're really
Great.
excited about
Mm.
that in North Georgia. But also coming up in October in North Alabama is the second annual Song Fest in Coleman, Alabama. We did that last year with the Inspirations, and we just had a successful night. We're really blessed with how that event went. And I think Avery was there, and I don't
Yeah.
know, were you there, Riley? I can't remember.
I wanted to, but I couldn't come. But
Okay. Well, hey, these guys show up everywhere, and I'm everywhere too, so I can't remember who's there or not.
Yeah.
But
I've showed up in South Carolina before.
I know, yes, yes.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, so we had a great night and a great time with about 650 people there. So we decided, hey, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Some of our dear friends, Inspirations, they have a great following, and we've got a great following in the area. So we're going to do it again on Thursday, October the 5th. This time at a different venue at Temple Baptist Church, just right off the interstate there in Coleman. And it's going to be a free admission. We'll take up a love offering, and the doors will open at 6. The concert's going to start at 7. And we just want you to come be a part. Put it on your calendar. It's going to be a great night. And also, we have a special guest MC for that night. Dwayne Guerin is going to be with us. So
All
I'm
right.
excited to have him and his family. And so it's just going to be a great night of gospel music in Coleman. So put it on the calendar, Thursday, October the 5th.
Fantastic. And for information on all of your promotions, I think that we have a little banner we can put up to help folks to find you on CT Gospel Tickets, I believe is where we need to be right there. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. So folks can go to that email address and find out about all the coming promotions from C&T and how to get tickets and just come out and support it. Well,
Yes.
and when it's not a ticketed event, just show up.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Not every event is ticketed, but we put all our main information on that website.
Sure.
And actually, what the next ticketed event is a brand new event that's happening next April. I mean, it literally was just announced. It's going to be at Lee University in Cleveland, Tennessee. So we're going
All
to
right.
branch out into the Chattanooga area and do something special there. And actually, we're calling it the Songfest Spectacular. It's going to be on Saturday, April the 13th. And we're going to have a hymn sing that afternoon at
All
12
right.
o'clock. We're going to have a gospel music hymn sing. We're so excited to do that. That's our first time to host the game. And then that night, we're going to have a Songfest Spectacular with Greater Vision, Mark Trammell Quartet, Wisnets, and the Milan Hayes family. And those doors open at 5, and it starts at 6. And it is ticketed for the night. The hymn sing is just a $10 donation at the door that goes to help cover the day's expenses for that. And also, we'll take up a love offering to go to the Hymn Sing Foundation
Yes.
and continue supporting that endeavor and getting our product out to all the nursing homes in America, veterans homes, hospital, respite care, and then just continue doing that outreach there as well. So definitely don't miss it on Saturday, April the 13th at the Con Center at Lee University. It's going to be an exciting brand new event there. And you can get your tickets at that link at ctgospeltickets.com. $20 in advance and $25 at the door the day of. So we're so
Perfect.
excited about that.
Well, while you're talking all things gospel music hymn sing, why don't you dive off into some other exciting things coming from the hymn sing?
Yes, yeah. So we just announced about 2.5 weeks ago that the Hymn Sing Gang is going to Australia this December, and we are so excited for that opportunity that we are getting to go minister to the church and our brothers and sisters in Australia. We honestly, we were approached by In Touch Ministries about this opportunity, and with a lot of prayer and time and coordinating and planning all this out, we've officially got everything on the roll, and we'll be going down there for 7 days in December, and we'll be having, I think that's their summertime, so we'll be having a gospel music hymn sing there in mid December, right before we get home for Christmas vacation. So we're really excited about that opportunity, and we just ask that you would pray for us as we go down there and minister to those people. I know the church has struggled and it's had a hard time
Yeah.
recently, so remember them in prayer and pray for us that what we do would be a blessing, and we'd share a lot through music and song there to our brothers and sisters in Australia.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Riley, did you say you had the Mark Trammell Quartet Classic CD?
Yes, I had the pre-release, so
All right.
it's
Why don't
very
you?
very good.
Yeah, why don't you and Trevor talk a little bit about that and all things Mark Trammell Quartet?
Yes, sir. So, for everybody does not have the. It's not out officially, I guess, but y'all have had the pre-release on the table since um the homecoming. When is that coming out to everybody else?
That will be available, I believe, at convention. The street date is NQC, so it will be available there at National Quartet Convention coming up at the end of September.
What are some of your favorite songs on the project?
Oh gosh, that's so hard because all these
There's
quartet
yeah.
songs are just full of energy, and our harmony just it fits so good with each song. Honestly, from my perspective, I love to play When They Call My Name. That is
Oh
just
yeah.
a great
Mm-hmm.
song, and everybody sings together on that one. That's a great song. Also, I'm trying to think. The Happy Goodman family did a song, "Living in Canaan Now," which is in the hymn book, but they we kind of put our spin on it, kind of like they did, and it's kind of one of those where when you get to the chorus, everybody starts singing different parts, and you just pray that
Mm-hmm.
everybody meets together at the end, But that's just a great barn burner as well. And there's also some surprises on there, like a new medley arranged by Mark Trammell and Trey Ivy, "Because He Lives" and "Until Then," and
Okay.
it may be a close runner-up for "New King Is Coming," in my opinion. It's got a
Oh
great impact every time I listen to it. So
wow.
there's new
It's very
stuff.
powerful.
You know, Funny, maybe in 25, there's some songs on this record I had honestly never heard of. So
Oh.
to the younger audience, it may be all new songs, but to our older audience, it's probably just a flashback, but with some nice, fresh arrangements, and of course, first class quality by what I think is the best quartet right now on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I hope everybody gets it. I really do, because it'll minister to you, and we'll have it there
Absolutely.
at convention and CD, and also in USB form for the people that have newer cars that don't have. Oh, Avery's excited.
No, I don't have a CD player in my car. I got
Yeah,
a new one in it. And yep.
and so we'll have that available as well. And then, of course, brand new merchandise like T-shirts and mugs and all that fun stuff. So, hey, you got to come see us at the Quartet Convention to get it. We'll be at the table all week, so we hope to see you there.
Yeah, and then go ahead and plug it. There's another project of yours that I play all the time at work at my desk. So why don't we talk a little bit about that before we move off of the merchandise?
Well, it's hard to plug yourself, but this
Yeah.
is this is an album that honestly, people see me play a lot of upbeat stuff and exciting stuff, and I love to play fast songs. Always have as a child, but this is kind of a unexpected project, probably to the fans. It's an easy listening collection
Hmm.
of just piano. There's no tracks, nothing else behind me. It's just raw piano, and it's me just playing from the heart. It's called "Hymns from the Heart," and I was honored to have Gerald Wolf produce it, and we actually we did that, and it's just a very good CD for meditation and prayer, easy listening in the car, or why even I tell people, I say, It's better than any sleeping pill in America. And if you want to know the truth if that's true or not, just ask Mark Trammell. I put it on before I give him his medicine before he goes to bed every night. So it works. And
I
he
can
may
speak
not
to
like
that.
me.
I did that today. I turned it on and I just took me a nap right after work today, and I was like, just turn on. Hey Siri, play Trevor. No, don't. Now I was gonna start playing Trevor, and then I just go.
Testimony time.
Yes, but it's 20 of my favorite hymns, and I'll even go ahead and tell you that we'll probably do another one just like it
Great.
because I've had a lot of people tell us that they've enjoyed it. So it's on
Yeah.
CD and USB as well, and I've also got two previous CDs, but you can get all that at our table at convention or anytime on the road, or you can go online to my website. Do you have the link for that, Scott?
We do. We are getting there.
There it is.
Yeah.
You go to
Yeah.
trevorconklemusic.com. You can order it there through PayPal or credit card, and I'll personally put it in that envelope and mail it to you. And USB CD, we do it all. And also, we're working on digital streaming as well. So be looking for that to come
Yeah.
out hopefully very soon.
I I'll give a testimony too because I have a pretty my daytime gig is a pretty high stress environment, and so that's why I play you a lot because it just helps kind of keep me grounded.
Thank
So
you. Thank
enjoy it. Well, Trevor, I definitely don't want to abuse or take advantage of your time too much tonight, but as we kind of come in toward a landing,
you. Yeah.
I do want to see if I can facilitate one conversation between the three of you. Okay,
All right.
and that comes from the foundation of where Southern Gospel Forward came from. Of course, now I'm all things history of Southern gospel music, and me, I'm kind of moving into that place where I guess I'm one of the old guys now. We got a lot of snow in my cap up here that still some of it's still there, and getting older. I'm a traditionalist. I love the history of Southern gospel music. That's why I'm so involved with the Southern Gospel Music Association and working with the board on that. But um, you mentioned earlier about some of the churches and changing formats and even myself, I've served in a church under leadership that basically said that the music had moved past its relevancy, so to speak, and moving in different things, which obviously I didn't jihad too well with. But anyway, so all this to say, one thing that I noticed, and I've been noticing this more and more, I noticed at the homecoming last year that you guys had, I see a lot of young people. I see a lot of young people at the concerts. In fact, over the last couple of years at NQC, it seems like I'm seeing more young people, and which is difficult because NQC is held during school time. When college is going on and high schools are in session. But I see a lot of young folks. I see a lot of younger adults, and you guys are young. I mean, you're Trevor. You're a young artist in the industry, and then we've got two young fans here in Riley and Avery. And I would just like for y'all to maybe have a little discussion on, you know, how you would tell someone that has that mindset. I talked with Gerald Wolf last year at the homecoming, and he and I having a discussion. I've never seen Southern gospel presented positively and in the right way to young people that they didn't love it, that they didn't come away appreciating it, that they didn't come away. So maybe y'all talk a little bit about youth in Southern gospel, and because that's the whole reason that this came out of my head and into this stream is I want to build community of young Southern gospel artists and young Southern gospel fans. So maybe talk about what it means to you and how you see youth in Southern gospel music moving forward.
Ladies first.
Gee, thanks, guys. So I know, at least for me, I'm in college. I'm in a grad program now, and I've got people from I think 14 different states, which means even more backgrounds. There's 35 of us, and I'm the minority when it comes to religious beliefs. I'll put it that way. So it's really comforting to have my friend group in Southern Gospel that on the weekends I can get away from that and I can be with those friends who are so uplifting. And the music, it's soothing to the soul. When I need uplifting, the Lord just knows how to send you to the right concerts at the right time, and they send things just when you need it. I've had that happen several times. Artists will be like, "Are you okay? I saw you just break down." I'm like, "You just don't know how much that meant to me." And so I'm really excited about getting this group together because I've had friends that are, out of state, like Riley. We see him sometimes, but he's from Georgia, so we don't get to see him as often. So I'm really excited to get us together. I'm really glad we're growing up in an age of social media where we can get together like this on this kind of format and all band together that, we're supposed to be a peculiar people and stand out. And it's easier when you got friends. So that's my take on it. So.
Yes, like many of you, well, when you go to a concert, you may, locally, you may only have a few young people, or when you go to the larger events, you may see more. But just getting everybody together, where we can all conversate and when we go to those larger events, meet together and get to fellowship one with another, and um, that's just a really big thing for me. Um, getting to get to know people like me. Not many people that I know of live near me that love the music like I do, and just having that community is very exciting.
So Trevor is a young artist, from what you see as far as some of the excitement, and I look upon the landscape of Southern gospel music and those traveling professionally. There is a lot of youth in Southern gospel. I mean, you included, obviously, but maybe lend your perspective on that and where you see going and how. Like I said, I see you guys as not the future, but of the present and helping leading us forward.
Yeah, from an artist perspective, I'll give you both artist and personal perspectives.
Okay.
From an artist perspective, I have never had a young person come up to me after a concert and say this was the worst thing I've ever been to.
Mm,
Now, they may not have just loved it, but I've never had anybody come up to me and say that, personally. I have seen just, I can tell just from their body language, just because I watch people at the table. I could tell that, well, that person was probably drugged here by their grandmother and they wouldn't have came, had they not been brought here. But I've learned that I think even in those moments, that person will look back 5 to 10 years later and after their grandmother passes away, and they'll never forget a moment like that they did something with.
Hmm.
I think as you get older, you reflect and look back at the things that you did as a child, as I do, that things that happened at church and things that happened with my family and the places that my grandparents took me to, and I can remember just coming to mind now that the time that my grandparents took me to Top of the River in Gadsden, Alabama, to hear a gospel concert. New Grand
Yeah.
was singing there, and I was probably 11 or 12 years old. But you never forget moments like that
Right.
that just that stick out. And so, as an artist, I have to remind myself, you're either planting the seed, you're watering the seed, or you're going to see it come to fruition, in someone's life and what we do. And sometimes it's interesting. You'll see somebody that you've never seen before our age, and you might see them either in 6 months again, or you might see them a year from now again at the same church if they have you there annually, and eventually, somebody will probably speak to each other, and you see each other, and it's like you start making a connection.
Mhm.
And don't ever think that people are not attentive to what you're singing or playing on stage, even when they don't look like it. I've learned that lesson myself, because sometimes I look at in an audience and I think you're looking at us like we're just over here picking beans, and we're just not, even getting the message across. But then it's afterwards they come by and they say that was just a blessing, and
Yeah.
just thank you so
Mhm.
much for coming. So never underestimate the power of the Lord moving through the music and the song and the message. But I think as a young person, I have seen an increase in more younger people. But
Yeah.
I have to say, technology has become a big push in that through social media,
Mhm.
and there's things like TikTok and Instagram. My generation is very visual. They would
Right.
rather watch something.
Right.
So YouTube is a big thing as well. So I think that has been a asset to our music, and also you'll see different groups and promotions conventions push their content on there, and especially Mr. Gaither, he has
Yes.
a lot of content now online, and I think I just saw a post yesterday that said he had reached his 3 billionth view. So
Wow.
that's a lot of views, which of course that probably took years to get to.
Yeah.
But each view is one person, and you never know what you're doing is going to reach somebody in person or online. But I still say that the greatest communication for young people is word of mouth, and also having your people that you associate with those interests and likes will rub off on you as well. So,
Yeah.
people say, well, young people don't like music, our music's dying. I say, it's not dying. And
Mm.
I just say that they're being influenced by obviously other types. And the reason that I love music is because of the people I was around and church
Yes.
people and my family. I didn't get a choice in what music that we listened
Mhm.
to in the car growing up. I mean, it was just that's what I was around. And I think as parents and grandparents, if you play it for your grandchildren and your children, they're going to like it. It's just a
Right.
natural ear progression that they're going to be drawn to that. So the more exposure you can get at home and in church, I think the better opportunity that you have to reach young people. But it's even not young people. I mean, we're even talking about middle-aged people. I mean,
Mm.
I have noticed too. I have noticed too a lot of new 30, 40, and 50-year-old people coming to our concerts that I mean, I've never seen before, but they have come by and said, "This is my first time to see you guys. I've seen you on Facebook, or I've seen you on YouTube, or someone gave me a CD, and I was just so excited to see you guys for the first
Right.
time in person." So you never know. You're making new fans everywhere you go, and people know about you that you may never even see in person, but they know you from your social media and
Yeah.
from people talking about you. So I think if we exhaust all measures and doing our best to promote the gospel. And in doing that, we'll create fans for a long
Yeah.
time. But at the end of the day, all we have to do is just go and tell and let God handle the rest of it. But it's
Yeah.
exciting to see where the music I think is headed. COVID
Mhm.
has done a lot to our music and the church in general. There's a
Mhm.
lot of things that we've had to see our music go through that we wouldn't have just loved, but it had to, I think, be a sifting season for us, and I think we're headed in a good direction.
Yes.
Our music is the only industry that is a fusion of multiple styles. If you
Yes.
think about it,
Mm.
and we have, I believe, we still have at least 90 to 100 groups that consider themselves in
Oh yeah.
this music in regards to full time ministry, there's
Mhm.
probably a list between 30 to 40 that would consider themselves in full time, week to week gospel music ministry. And then we have a lot that are, of course, in local part time ministry, and they're just as important. Um,
Yes.
and in doing that, we're all in this together. Our unity matters. Whatever we do, whatever we say, we're all in this together. We've got to promote the music and the gospel, and let God take care of the rest. And in giving our best through our presentation and the quality of music, I think it's going to help us all as we go from now into 50 years into the future. I just, in 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 25 years, I'll be 50 years old, and you think, wow, that's a long time, but it's really not a long time.
Mhm.
So thinking ahead, I believe that we're headed in a good direction, and I hope uh, that we get to be involved in gospel music for the rest of our career as long as the Lord allows, because we feel the calling and the need to go do what we do, and it's not a gig to us; it's a ministry.
Absolutely. And yeah, I'm less than 90 days from that 50 mark. So anyway, but I sit here today, and in my love and the heart for this music, I was 13, 14, 15 years old, and people like Rex Nealon and Peg McCamey, Bean and George and Glenn and Tim Riley, and those folks showed me attention, and I needed it. not coming from the best background, not coming from the happiest home, and I would be able to go to the concerts and they poured into me, and then the music spoke to me and took me to this place, and then you go from then to fast forward today, in my fandom, and young ones like Riley and Avery in the same boat, growing up loving the music, and they become the leaders, and that's one thing that I think is huge. And again, that I'm really, and I'm seeing a lot of folks speaking up and making comments on here. We can't get to them all, and I apologize, but thank y'all for being here. One thing that you can really help us with right now is, again, the mission of Southern Gospel Forward is to build community in young Southern Gospel fans and young Southern Gospel artists, and encourage each other and encourage them and keep building the music and keep building the togetherness. And I see that amongst our music. It seems to be more and more everybody cheering each other on. If you believe in that and that mission, if you could just share us. We've got a group on Facebook, Southern Gospel Forward, that is designed for, we say 35 ish and below. Now I'm Papaw, but I kind of started the boat, but I kind of sit back and watch things. But it's a group of community. If you're in that age range, if you're 35 and below, please join and get in the community and the conversation. These shows, this is number one, but we've got several. We're going to do it, and we're going to keep going as long as the Lord will allow us to do. So subscribe we got a YouTube channel on SBM Studios, SBM Studios. Go subscribe to that YouTube channel. That'll help get us out there, and you can share it. Share the SBM Studios. You get to see Southern Gospel Forward, and you get to see the Southern Gospel Spin. And we've had some shows with like Sound Street and Danny Funderburk and more content going. You can help us and build this community by joining in and becoming a member, and then sharing the content. But Trevor, don't you think that the industry and some of our older folks now and some of the legends do a great job in encouraging the young folks in the industry and the young fans?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
I have seen it. I mean, even in Riley and Avery, and the greatest thing that uh, can be done at the table, I've noticed, is just an act of kindness and speaking to somebody and raising their hand
Mm.
and shaking it, and just being able to make that connection. And our I'll say our elders of the industry, they have done a great job into helping the music maintain a quality level, and
Yeah.
to also push young people to get involved. Uh, there's a lot that we can do. There's a lot we can't do because it takes everybody. But I
Yes.
can tell you this: an act of kindness and a smile has never gone too far, and it's always made a difference. To me, my goal is not to sell a CD at the table; is to make that connection with the people.
There
Of
you
course,
go.
I want you to take the CD home, but if I can make a friend for the next 30, 40 years to come back and bring their friends with them, and make more friends and fans for our music. That's what
Yeah.
it takes, and we're all in this together. And the
Yes.
music needs more people. The music has a great lineup of artists right now. Young people like the Irwins, and I think people like them are really doing a great thing for our music, reaching all demographics, and
Yes.
they're doing a great job in presenting the gospel. So I
Yeah.
commend all the young people in it, and the ones that want to get involved in it. Just keep your head in the Bible, and to just keep your mind on the Lord's will. And when He opens that door, it'll be in His way and His timing, and you'll be so glad that He did.
Amen. And I tell you, Brother Trevor, I appreciate your kindness to me and to all of us. And we did not mean to
Yes.
take this much of your time tonight, but the conversation just kind of flowed. So I hope we haven't overextended our stay with you.
No, 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 no. I have
Okay.
one question for my interviewers, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, uh, off our latest project, we did Still Standing in concert. Do you like Still Standing, or do you like God Has Provided Himself a Lamb? That is a hard one for me to pick as a favorite. So I want to hear from you guys. Which one is a favorite for you? Because
Mm.
in concert,
Mm.
they're so much alike in energy, and I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, I wonder what the people really think. Which is their favorite?
I can't stand that you're making me decide between these two.
It's a
Because
tough
I
question.
mean, they both have
Yeah.
such great qualities. Still Standing is so uplifting, especially
Mm.
after everything we've been through in the 2020 and on. So that's encouraging. I really enjoy it. I love God Has Provided Himself a Lamb, because I always enjoy seeing how many times Nick will run back there to hit the button before Mark stops him. That cracks me up every time. Um, but honestly, and this one's different. My favorite that you guys will close with sometimes is The King Is Coming. Like that one
Mm.
gets me sends chills down me every time. So I'm gonna go off that and say that
Yeah,
one's my favorite. So
that's fine. Most requested song that we ever have.
Riley?
Um, that is a very hard question because I love, he goes back on both of them hitting the on. I said I need my own encore button when I'm listening at home because
yes.
I just want to hit the button over and over. But I'd say God Has Provided probably. Um, if I had to pick one, which that's a very difficult thing to do, but I'd have to say that one.
You don't want my opinion, right?
Come on, Scott, bring it on.
I really wanted you to
Say
say no,
when. I'm kidding.
but I think I would go with Still Standing. But again, I love the high energy both. It's hard to pick. It's almost a coin toss. Ugh, a coin toss, boy. I tell you, I'm tired. But yeah, I love Still Standing. I love the energy in both of those songs, and it's always the crowds on the feet before it's over with. So good stuff. You're asking us tough questions.
I have a tough question for you, Trevor, and I might get me and you both in trouble with your boss, but it's okay because you said making those connections at the table. I know Mark loves me, and he'll forgive me. Are you better than him at golf?
No, he's better than me, but I'm getting there. I
You're
promise.
working.
He just made me have to work really hard. And last year, the only reason I beat his team at homecoming was because I had some really good teammates. So, I'm working on it. I'm gonna get there. Now he's been playing for 40 years, and I've been playing for like 5. So we
You're
got a lot
coming.
of work to do, but I think we'll get there. We'll get
Yeah,
You're
I know
coming.
he's always bragging about the golf tournament.
Oh my gosh. I mean, he's concerned. He don't care who's first place. He's just concerned to make sure he can beat all his group members.
That's right. That's right. Well, as we come to a close, I tell you what, Jason, producer Jason, if you don't mind, look back through there. There's some neat little comments if you want to be putting up while I'm talking here. But we'll give some shout outs to folks that gave us shout outs. But here's what I want y'all to do, y'all that's still with us. And I have got 2 vouchers for 2 tickets each. So 2 different vouchers, 2 people will get 2 tickets each to the Sunday night performance of the National Quartet Convention in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. That is on September 24th. An amazing lineup that first night, a Sunday night. It gives you a little bridge to jump on in there and get you some more tickets and more passes to the events for the rest of the week. But the first 2 people who comment in I want it. That's all you got to say is I want it. And I will send you a voucher for 2 tickets to the National Quartet Convention. Did you pop up some while I was talking there, Bubba? I saw Brother Dwayne. Look at there. He was watching. We appreciate that support.
Wayne. Hey, can
Absolutely.
I say something here also? Uh,
Absolutely.
Definitely, we want to push this page, and definitely want the viewership and the followers to grow. We've shared it on our Facebook page, but even after this video is over, please continue to share it. I know we all will individually, and we want to make sure that this gets out and people can watch the discussion and get involved. And I know they've got some great artists they're going to be on in the coming weeks, and some special stuff coming up as we get closer to convention. So definitely share and like this page, and definitely I'm sure that'll be a blessing to Brother Scott and
Yes.
everyone else.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that plug. And I didn't even ask for it, but thank you so much for it.
Yeah.
We do have 2 winners, and let's see. Goodness gracious, y'all pronounce these names. The first one is
Caitlin Grandstaff.
There you go. So, Caitlin, I will get with you in the comments section,
Caitlin,
and I'll.
I know who that is.
You do?
I do.
Awesome. All right. Well, she has won a couple of passes or a couple of tickets to the Sunday night NQC, and the other one is
Waylon
what?
and Cheryl Harper.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they go to my church. I know exactly.
awesome. Awesome.
See,
Well,
we're
all right. And so y'all be watching. I'm going to respond to you after we're off the air, maybe through Messenger if that works. And there'll be other opportunities, y'all. There's some other I Want It's that came in. I'm sorry you missed it, but keep watching. Watch the Southern Gospel Spin with the old guys, Jason and I, and Jason and me. What's the correct?
Jason and I.
There you go. Thanks.
Here's
And then keep watching here. And Riley's going to keep jumping in with us, and Avery, and also Avery's brother Evan.
He's in theater right now, and
Yeah.
he's got a show coming up in September. So maybe after he gets done with it in September, he'll join us a little more.
Very good. So,
hey
do I
Scott.
okay, Trevor. Yeah.
Here's something different. If for those that were paying attention earlier in the video, I will give away one of my new CDs if they can answer this question.
Uh-oh.
How many years did I say I have been involved in full-time music ministry? If you can answer that number, then I will send you a free CD.
All right. We're watching the comments. Thank you for that giveaway. Appreciate that, Trevor. JP Turner says 9 years.
There we go.
All right.
Also, yeah,
I know
JP,
him
just
too.
just message me on Facebook, and I will get your information and send it to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Trevor. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And thank you so much for giving us your time. I appreciate you so much.
Yes.
You have blessed me. Again, I'm old. Like I said, I feel like a papaw in this group, but through the years at the concerts, you've been kind to me and showed me friendship, and I appreciate that. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate the way that you have. And if I can ever do anything for you, all you got to do is ask. I'll be doing anything I can. But I thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
Yes, sir. Yeah, honored to be here and be asked to do this. And I guess I will for sure see all three of y'all in just a couple of weeks at the Quartet show. So we'll see you there. And I'm just so excited for that week to see all our friends. And you know where I'll be. I'll be at the table. So if you need me, just come find me.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see you, brother. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you so much. Avery and Riley, anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No. Thanks everybody for joining. If you're not a part of our page, join the page because we'd love to have an even bigger friend group.
Yes.
Absolutely. And like and share, join that YouTube channel. We certainly would appreciate it. But we will close out then for the night. And thanks again for joining us. And y'all just subscribe and keep watching. We'll be back soon. We love y'all. God loves you. Y'all have a good evening.
See you guys.
Good night.